Well, it's a hard thing to.
Yeah.
Because.
Good.
Okay, call the meeting in order.
Councilwoman Selby,
Present.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Present.
Supervisor Keating,
Present.
Councilwoman Lukacic,
Present.
Councilwoman Martin.
Present.
Councilman Cardicchini, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And is Father Jerry? Yes, sorry. Right. Father Jerry, you have the floor.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Lord, as our leaders gather to lead us through, to guide our town, we ask that this meeting be guided by the principles your Son taught us: integrity, concern for the poor and the sick, and outreach to those on the margins of our society. We ask this in the name of your Son. Amen.
Amen. All right, under preliminary matters tonight, I'm going to move one of the items under new business up to preliminary matters. We have a Boston resident that the town board would like to acknowledge tonight, and we also have a representative from Connect Life, Jamie B Guy. Sorry, I almost got it. And so I'm going to read this proclamation.
I'm supposed to call her.
Oh, you don't. All right, so we're going to get. Mrs. Moore could not attend tonight. She's not going to like me for this either, just for the record.
That's true.
Town clerk, please redact any foul language.
Hello. I'm well. May I put you on speakerphone? All right. Can you hear us?
Certainly can.
Okay.
Hear her?
Oh, you can. Okay, Barb, I know you're not going to like me for this, but the town board, after all of your service and dedication to the town with Connect Life, we do have, just so you know, we do have Jamie B Guy here from Connect Life. He does have the plaque that you were awarded, and it does say Town of Boston, but really that came on it, in my opinion. But the town board wanted to do a proclamation. It reads as follows. Whereas Barbara Moore has been a lifelong resident of the town of Boston who has continually volunteered her time to contribute to the greater good for our town. And whereas Barbara has worked collaboratively with Connect Life since 2011 to host blood drives at the town of Boston Town Hall. And whereas a total of 81 drives have taken place over the course of 11 years. These blood drives have produced and granted a total of 1,369 total units for local hospitals. And whereas each blood donation can save up to 3 lives, and to date, with the help of the town of Boston donors, led by Barbara Moore and Connect Life, there has been a total of 4,107 lives saved. Now, therefore, be resolved, the town board of the town of Boston would like to formally recognize and sincerely thank Mrs. Barbara Moore for her valiant efforts in leading the Connect Life blood drives in the town of Boston for the past 11 years, dated the 7th day of December, 2022. So, Barbara, many thanks for all your work. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you. If you make me cry, I'm going to be really mad. Please know that first. I really and truly appreciate this, but please recognize more than me all of the people that step up and roll up their sleeves and donate, and our town clerk's office for always making sure that we have a room available. And Jamie, who of all of the people that I have worked with at Connect Life, and there have been a lot of them, is open to always doing the right thing and making good progress for us. And if you look around that room right now, I'm willing to bet that you'll see Jay Jackson, who makes sure our drive is advertised, even when I forget. And Richie Hawkins, who really got us started with competitions way back when we first started doing this. And if Don O'Brien is, I think in all the time I've been doing this, Don has missed one drive. And everybody else that happens to be there that's donated deserves the credit. So thank you very much. This is an honor.
Yeah. And Barb, Jamie, do you want to say anything, or feel free, come up to me. Yeah. I'll call you out.
I just want to thank all of you and all of you. Unfortunately, I'm not a town of Boston resident. I wish I was, but I am, an adopted member of the town. So I thank you guys for hosting us each and every month. We started, doing a few a year, and now we've grown these blood drives to doing them once a month, and it's a really huge accomplishment. Most towns don't do that. Most towns cannot do that. You guys can do that. Is because of Barbara. It's because of our donors, because of everyone at Town Hall. It's everybody. So sincerely, thank you all for helping out. Those numbers are a huge deal. We saved a lot of lives. So thank you.
Yeah.
And
Thanks.
this is for
For Barbara. Yes. All right.
Great, thank you. Appreciate it. Barbara, thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. Any board members want to say anything? Or?
Congrats, Barb.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you do.
All right. Thanks, Barb. You have a good night.
Thanks for taking the call. Enjoy your meeting. No problem. Bye-bye.
Okay, so Barbara Moore did not want me to do that for her, but the commitment has been immense over the years. It really has, and again, it's yeah. If Jason Keegan goes missing, you might know why. All right, so moving along, and so under that preliminary matter, that was item number 7 tonight. So we will be skipping over that later on. The other thing I did want to do tonight under preliminary matters, sadly, the town lost a great person in our community. For those of you that hopefully had a chance to meet this great gentleman, his name was Herb Klein. Since I came into town, I've always heard the name. I got into the world of public service, and I've had the opportunity to speak to the gentleman quite a few times. Just an amazing gentleman, and sadly, we lost him last week. So, with that being said, I'd like to have a moment of silence for Herb. All right, thank you. I did want to read because you learn something new every day. But out of the obituary for anyone in the audience or even our fellow board members here that didn't know, I was pretty surprised of all that Herb had done. There's a term that's out there. It's called servant leadership. Something that I learned about. This is not about me, but I learned about this in Leadership Buffalo, that there's very few people that kind of hit this level in the community and society of servant leadership. And after reading this obituary about Mr. Klein, he's, I think if you open up the dictionary for that definition, his picture would be there, and it should be. And I'm just going to read some of the things that Herb had done in his lifelong time here in Boston. Of course, he owned and operated Herb's Barber Shop in North Boston for over 65 years. And he held every position in North Boston Volunteer Fire Department. He joined in 1956. He was Sergeant of Arms in 1958, President in 1960, Secretary in 1962, Chaplain in 1961, from 1963 to 1975, again from 1979 to 1981. He was awarded the Outstanding Fireman in 1995 and was also on the Grand Gala organization, which still exists today. Herb had sponsored many times the Boston Little League throughout the 1960s and 1970s. He was the president of the Boston Chamber of Commerce in 1963. He was the president of the Maplewood Cemetery in 1984. through 2014. He was awarded the Boston Chamber of Commerce Citizen of the Year Award in 1987. He was the Boston from 1972 to 1984, Boston Town Clerk from 1972 to 1984, Deputy Commissioner of the Board of Elections from 1984 to 1992. He was a member of the Boston Town Band from 1992 forward. He was part of the Boston Christmas lighting that we're all enjoying here this evening as we drive out of the town hall from 1993 on. North Boston Fire Hall, and also the current town hall that we have here today. And he was very instrumental in the development of the New York State Police Barracks here in Boston. My hats off to that gentleman. We will absolutely miss him, and we'll keep his family and all in our thoughts and prayers as we go forward. So, all right, moving along to regular business. Adoption minutes from the November 16th, 2022 town board meeting. And Councilwoman Lukacek, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I did have a chance to review November 16, 2022's meeting minutes, and I make no changes or corrections. I make a motion that we approve.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Abstain.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 2 is a consideration of, I'll take this item tonight. I'd like to make a motion to approve the total fund bills on an updated abstract in the amount of $231,137.59. There was one item in the abstract that was item number 75. For those of you that haven't looked at the packet, that is currently still being reviewed, and we had a couple of questions, so that was removed. So again, the total abstract for this journal entry was abstract was $231,137.59.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 3 tonight is our correspondence. There are 7 items of correspondence that have been received and filed at the town clerk's office, and they are as follows. Item 1 is the Town of Boston Dog Control Officer Report for November 2022. Item 2 is the Erie County Water Authority extract of the minutes and tariff. Item 3 is the letter from the chairman, Dr. Mitch Tucker, and the Conservation Advisory Council. Item number 4 is the Comp Alliance Award letter, and I can explain that at my report. Item 5 is the dispatch reports from August through October 2022 for the Boston EMS, Boston Fire Company, North Boston Fire Company, and Patchen Fire Company. Item 6 is the Boston Volunteer Fire Company Form 9. And item 7, the last item of correspondence, town clerk and tax collector audit reports. And all those have been received and filed with the town clerk's office. Moving on to new business. Item number 1 is requests from the floor. If anyone in the public would like to come up and state any items on business, please state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes each.
Afternoon, council people. Dave Appa, 6089 Hillcroft. Let me start by saying we just want to help. I'm speaking for Patchen Fire Company and myself. A very small background on myself. I have 21 years interior firefighter, 21 years EMT. I'm the EMS coordinator for Patchen, one of multiple CPR instructors, EMS preceptor with UBMD, and so on. I'm also a member of the Boston Emergency Squad. I sit on their board. I'm their emergency preparedness lieutenant and in charge of their CME recertification program. I'm president of the Boston Cold and Chief Council. I want to help. Back in August, Boston Emergency Squad wrongly removed Patchen Fire from EMS response without any cause. Patchen Fire is a BLS-FR EMT-B and has multiple EMS personnel at different levels, 13 EMTs, 1 advanced, 2 paramedics, and others with previous active certifications. Every member, as well as first aid, stop the bleed, and Narcan administration. The previous model Patchen responded under was referred to as the Buffalo model. This model activated a response for such incidents like chest pain, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, airway compromised, overdoses, unconscious, unresponsive, severe burns, electrocution, suicide attempts, drowning, or allergic reaction. All these stated above are obvious, life-threatening, and a quick response is vital. The statement, if one life is saved, isn't it worth it? Well, to give a few quick examples, an allergic reaction to a bee sting or medication, we are trained to check and inject, we carry epi to administer, We also have albuterol for those needing just a little extra help breathing and opening the passages. Chest pain, we carry aspirin and oxygen. We can assess and possibly get an advanced unit and route to the location faster if we are on scene first. Overdose, administrate it. Choking, that's a simple one, but yet a vital skill. We remove the hazard and help in any way we can. We answer to the same medical director and have the same medical direction. We also house the only UTV in town with tracks and the medical unit geared to respond during incidents like the storm we just faced a few weeks ago. Our unit was actually dispatched into the town of Hamburg to help remove residents from houses and vehicles, evaluating them and taking them to the warming shelters throughout the worst of the storm. Once again, we care about the patient, the citizen, and want to help. Let me wrap this up with Patchen Fire Company has previously responded to these incidents I've stated for well over 20 years. I'm a town citizen. I belong to both companies with pride. I also want someone at my house or your house as soon as possible if emergency arises. There is not a negative side to Patchen responding, and I've confirmed with the state EMS for direction, and we are within our rights, BEM's policy statement 06-04, to give the service. The service is free and benefits everyone. I'll say it again, we want to help. Don't you want someone coming to your emergency should you ever need help? So I'll say, spread the word, let your council know, and you shouldn't be losing a service you may need to depend on one day. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, Dr. Mitch Tucker. I live on Parkside Drive. I just wanted to thank the town board for our conversation earlier today and during our presentation on the Climate Smart Communities resolution. So thank you.
Howdy, my name is Derek Bowen. I live at 7228 Boston State Road. A little nervous, so bear with me. My name is Derek Bowen. I'm 20 years old. I'm a captain interior fireman at Patchen Volunteer Fire Company. I'm also an EMT and a CPR instructor at Boston EMS. I'm a full-time public health major at UB, and I'm a manager at McDonald's, which is where I'll be heading in like 45 minutes. So I've been top responder at Boston EMS for the last 3 years, totaling more than 100 calls a year. On top of that, I go on nearly every Patchen fire call that gets dispatched, and I stay up to date on my training and certifications and get probably a new fire class every year. In a time where volunteerism is at an all-time low, removing an entire volunteer fire company from an EMS response is a remarkably surprising decision. When asked why such happened, we were given responses that had no bounds and no real reasoning behind them. Patchen Fire Company is full of young, motivated men and women like me, and I'm not sure who you guys think will be covering the town of Boston in 10 years, but it's probably going to be people my age now. But I wouldn't count on an ambulance that can barely even get a crew when you have a life or death situation. Wouldn't you rather at least have firemen there equally as trained if an ambulance somehow can't come per that chance? I have no quarrel with Boston EMS, obviously, since I take a majority of their calls, and I've been on 2 today alone. But to remove, flipping page, an actively growing and thriving fire company from a run card over petty 19-year-old long drama, that's just a straight up unreasonable and negligent decision. And it makes me think that perhaps leadership in this town and leadership in this town's emergency services are forgetting what we do this for. We do this to help people, not to be the best fire company or to look like heroes. We do this to help people. And if one life is saved, it's worth it. And I'd love for you to go throughout our town and ask how many people Patchen has showed up to and helped in times of their need. Stop stalling, give us our EMS back. Tomorrow it could be too late. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Mike O'Halloran. I live on Drive. The town put the ditch through my backyard. The cellar's been flooding, but not as bad as it is now. It's contaminated. It cost $30,000 to get the basement cleaned out, $837 for the furnace, and $439 for 2 new sump pumps. And then it flooded again February the 19th. So we're going to have to do something. We either go to court or work together. I've got the paperwork from the environmental people and the guys who cleaned it out, ServPro. Look it over and we can discuss. But it's gotta get fixed.
I didn't hear the address. Could you tell me your address again?
6560 Colonial.
Cole Road?
Colonial.
Colonial. Oh,
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
Jay Jackson, 7964 Back Creek Road. It's nice to see the Parks Department hanging the lights, decorating the town hall. Place looks great. Nice job.
All right. Any other comment? Okay, with no other comment, I'll close the floor. Item number 2 tonight under new business is to schedule a public hearing for 2022 local law intro number 3 entitled A Local Law Updating the Town of Boston's Standards and Procedures for Administration and Enforcement of the New York State Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code and the State Energy Conservation Construction Code. I'll take this item tonight. So that I'd like to schedule the public hearing, and the public hearing reads as follows. I'd like to make a motion to schedule the public hearing. A public hearing shall be held by the town board of the town of Boston on January 4th, 2023 at 7:30 p.m. at Boston Town Hall, 8500 Boston State Road, Boston, New York, to hear any and all persons either for or against 2022 local law intro number 3 entitled A Local Law Updating the Town of Boston's Standards and Procedures for Administration and Enforcement of the New York State Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code and Energy Conservation Construction Code. This local law makes changes to the town's code to enforce program required by recent changes in governing state law and regulations. And the copies of this proposed law were sponsored by myself, Supervisor Jason Keating, Town Clerk's Office, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. I'd like to make a motion for the public hearing on January 4th, 2023 at 7:30 p.m.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Curtis, Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukashik,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 3 tonight is Resolution 2022-86, authorizing an agreement with the Boys and Girls Club of Orchard Park Incorporated. And Councilman Cardicchini, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 2022-86, authorizing the agreement with the Boys and Girls Club of Orchard Park. The town of Boston desires to improve the service to the youth of the town without the expense and liability of continuing its own program. They do a nice job. The proposed management agreement between the town and the club provides the club with services to Boston youth in exchange for town support in the amount of $73,000 and $75,000 for 20. The motion is on the table.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukashik,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item number 4 tonight is Resolution 2022-87, authorizing the disposal of surplus equipment. And Councilwoman Selby, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I would like to approve resolution number 2022-87, whereas the town of Boston Town Hall Labor has identified the following equipment obsolete. 1, the Vacuum Fuller Brush Company, model number FBTBPW. Number 2, a Dynex TV model, a Xenex TV, a TV cart, and an air purifier. The property will be scrapped based on condition, and I'd like to adopt this resolution.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukashik,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Carried.
Okay, item number 5 tonight is the Resolution 2022-88, approving Justice Court audit. And Councilwoman Martin, would you like to take that item tonight?
Yes, thank you, Supervisor. I make a motion to approve resolution number 2022-88, whereas the town justice must present her records and docket for an audit or an accountant retained by the town board. Town justice and Deborah Bender have presented their records and docket to the town board and Drescher Malecki, who performed an audit of those records on April 6th. I make a motion to accept this audit as it was presented by Drescher and Malecki.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item 6 tonight is resolution 2022-89 for the East Hill Pump Station repair. I'll summarize the resolution. I'd like to make a motion to summarize this resolution by saying that the town hall was notified on November 22nd that one of the 2 variable frequency drive, or also referred to as a VFD, Victor Frank Donald, pumps had failed at the pumping station on Cole Road. So to make it a repair to those and to have a timely procurement of the pumps, because right now with the current state of our construction industry, the pumps are approximately 20 to 26 weeks out. We wanted to make pass this resolution to authorize that repair. We don't have a total dollar amount at this time. We have an estimate of a amount of $66,121. So this resolution, I'd like to make the motion to approve, will allow the authorization of that repair. And then because the town of Boston is the least managed water district, until we receive that bill, we don't know the total dollar amount, but this resolution will authorize a budget amendment in 2023 when the exact amount is determined by the Erie County Water Authority, and at which time the 2023 budget will be amended in another resolution, of course, to appropriate the proper funding. So with that, I'd like to make that motion.
I'll second.
Ready, set, go.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, and item 7 tonight, once again, was a proclamation for resident Barbara Moore. We addressed that in preliminary matters tonight. Item number 8 is a request from James Laskowski for an appointment to the Board of Assessment Review. And Councilman Cardicchini, would you like to take that item?
Sure. We have a letter from James Laskowski, dated November 15th, 2022. He would like to be considered for a position on the Assessment Board of Review. He is very qualified to do this, and I make a motion that we approve him.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek?
Yes, with the clarification that the appointment of James Laskowski to the Board of Assessment Review, his term is through 9/30/2027.
Thank you. And Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 9 tonight is to appoint a delegate for the Association of Towns Annual Business Meeting. And Councilwoman Selby, would you like to take that item tonight?
Yes. I assume that delegate would be Sandy?
Well,
Say on here?
Are you going to go? No, this year?
I have not asked, I have not put in the
Okay, so
request to go, but
Jason?
Jason.
Okay.
yes.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, I would like to make a motion to appoint and assign a delegate, which would be Supervisor Jason Keating, as its delegate for the February coming up annual business meeting.
I would second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. We only have one item under old business tonight, which is a resolution 2022-54. And thanks to the Conservation Advisory Council and Jason Kulicheski from the UB Regional Institute, he came in this evening and met with the town board, answered a bunch of questions for us. So I'd like to make a motion to table this to work. A couple of questions that did come out of that. We had a lengthy discussion, almost 45 minutes in length, which was great. So I'd like to make a motion to table this once again and see if we go at it again. So make the motion to table that resolution. 2022-54.
I'll second, pending my conversation with the DEC gentleman tomorrow, hopefully.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes, but I
Councilman-
strongly support your program and I thank you guys for your work and I look forward to passing it in the future.
Councilman Cardicchini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes, and I'm going to echo Kathy's response. I was very pleased with the information that Mitch so hard tried to get all us very well versed in this, and I'm very happy with the results. So yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Moving on to reports and presentations. Highway Superintendent, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you. First, I'd like to report that our new John Deere high lift has been delivered this week. It came in, I think, Monday. Looks great. On the other hand, we sold on Auctions International our 1999 International single axle plow truck. We got $9,300 for that, which was a fair price. It was 23 years old. As far as Jay Jackson and the Christmas lights, I appreciate the comment. Christmas lights do look great out there, and I'd like to thank, I'll let Barry Decker and Amanda Jensen and Scott Fellows, they're the ones that put the lights up. I'll let them know you said so. And then after Christmas comes the Christmas trees, and I don't know what the plan is with waste management with Christmas trees. Do people, I don't know if you were going to announce that, or I just don't want to wait till the January meeting and
Right.
people have trees out. Do people have to call waste management to get their trees picked up?
Yes.
Or how does it going
No, that is a great point. I'm making the note on that. So for all of us here and anyone watching at home through the live stream, so Christmas trees, that is considered as a bulk item under the new waste management contract. It technically always was. It just went into the back of the truck, just like bulk items used to be. But because it's considered as a bulk item, same protocols as in the past, and really nothing has changed. If it's a tall Christmas tree, anything over 4 feet, which most are, please cut them at 4-foot lengths. And then call the 1-800 number. It's on the town website. You can reach out to, that's probably the easiest way to find the 1-800 number. You can call Waste Management and they'll tell you what date they will be there to pick up the Christmas tree. And just like your solid waste carts, put them out at curbside, and just like in the past, it'll go away. If you're very ambitious and you have enough room in your cart, the lid can't technically be open, but as the old saying goes, if it can fit in a cart, it goes away. So if you can cut your Christmas tree that's not overly big and fit it into your cart reasonably, that will go away, just like yard waste that goes into your cart. So that's another option for the residents. But great question. Thank you, Bob. I'll make sure it gets out on the town website and social media. Thank you.
All right, thank you. The only other thing I have is we had quite a snowstorm a couple weeks ago, and there was a lot of damage to a lot of trees. So next spring, there's going to be a lot of brush out there to get picked up. So April 1st is the first scheduled brush pickup, and I'm sure we'll be busy next spring. So other than that, this will be our last meeting. So I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Councilwoman Selby, you have the floor.
Thank you, Supervisor. I'd like to publicly thank Barbara Moore for her years of service and her undevoted devotion to the blood drive. What a wonderful thing for the town of Boston. It's just great that we could honor her, and it was great to hear her voice tonight. So I also want to say a few words about Herb Klein, who I met when I first moved to Boston about 30 years ago. My kids, when they were 1 and 2, would go there and get their hair cut. My husband went and got his hair cut. He was the first real public official that I met when I started here way back in 2002, and came in and tried to help me out and say, don't worry, it'll be okay. And he's just a legacy in the town, and we really are going to miss a real gem there. So other than that, thank you for the gentleman who spoke about their services. I wish we could work something out with the fire company and EMS. We need to work together. These guys do great for our town, and I just hope everything works out the way it should. So besides that, great job on the Christmas lighting, and hope everybody has a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, and look forward to one more year. So that's all I have.
All right. Thank you. Councilman Cardicchini, you have the floor.
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. I'll start by saying I really appreciate Mitch and Pamela coming to the meeting tonight, bringing Jason. My position on this is making sure that it's not going to be a detriment to the town in the long term. I see the benefits, and I see why you fought for it, and I respect that. I think you guys do a wonderful work with the CAC, and I think it's good to dive a little deeper into it and see what the benefits really are for you guys. I mean, I really have one question for the gentleman I need to speak with for the DC, but pending that, I expect a favorable answer for that, and I don't see any reason to hold this up. So I just wanted you to both have the benefit of that information tonight. I want to take a minute and thank the Patchen Fire Company for coming tonight. I know it's been a process, to summarize it politely, to determine what is going to be between the Boston Emergency Services, or squad and the fire company going forward. I'd like to thank the gentlemen that both spoke. I know Dave and I have had many conversations about this. We're trying to get resolution on, and get things set up so that we can serve the community. I've said from day one when this dispute, this termination of the MOU happened, that the patient is the most important part of this conversation, and responding to somebody in need is the most important. And I think both of those bodies would agree with that and have agreed with that. So it's really adopting forward. I know that one party or the other is probably pleased with the answer, but we're trying to make a good decision, and I appreciate everybody's patience. And Bob and an incredible job with the roads during the storm. We were fortunate that we didn't get the 6 feet that Hamburg and Orchard Park did, but as always, awesome. And you can call on me. I will help out the department if there's a need for it. And lastly, or not lastly, I knew Herb Klein very well. I enjoyed his company. I would visit him in his later years, when before we could go out to lunch and get together and break bread. But he's been a big part of, he's been a big sounding board for me, and a senior in the community with so many things that he did. And he was just great to share time with. And I was a week late. I was going to take him lunch and visit him. They had a reception for him a couple weeks ago, and it was great. It was a big turnout. There was a band. Herb was, brought the Boston Town Band to Boston. And, those are things that are, I'm astounded that they continue to thrive. And it really speaks to his character. I will personally miss him. I know the town will miss him, but I will certainly miss him. And lastly, my dear friend Barbara Moore, she's whipping people to get them out to the blood drives every month. And it's a wonderful thing to see in our community and participate in. I'd like to welcome my fellow board members. I know there are members of the highway department that I see giving blood when I'm down there, but I'd love to see maybe a little more participation from our town board at the blood drive. So they're really good with the needles, I promise. So that's all I have tonight.
Don't worry, I'll be giving blood after that proclamation.
Oh, you have no idea.
One way or another.
What? Yeah, exactly. You got it. Councilwoman Lukacek, you have the floor.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Supervisor. The planning board meeting will be held on December 13th at 7:30. They are just reviewing some old business, no new business. I did want to say I love the lights, the holiday and Christmas lights. It looks awesome. So thank you to your team. Mr. Herb Klein was a unique individual that never was selfless. I did, and thankfully got a chance to meet him. And he left a wonderful legacy that I hope we have more individuals like that coming from our town. Miss Barbara Moore is a tenacious individual, and she's going to keep going as much as she can. So lovely individual. So, and I wouldn't want to be. So happy holidays and Merry Christmas to all.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Martin, you have the floor.
Thank you, Supervisor. First going to say my prayers are with the Klein family and the loss of an amazing individual for our town. Secondly, Barbara Moore. Same sentiments as everybody. She's a crazy lady, but she does wonders for our town as well. Kudos to her and all her efforts with Connect Life. Thank you to Bob for the plowing. It was amazing. I felt bad sitting at my house with the travel ban. I'm like looking out going, my roads are clear. Oh, well. So that and the Christmas lighting did great. Mitch and Pam, thank you again. That's slam dunk. I think it's a great opportunity for the town, and I really appreciate all your effort. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy New Year. Won't see ya, but that's all.
All right. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, you have the floor.
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. Town Clerk's report for November 2022 has been submitted to the Supervisor's office. I did hear from our sweetheart Barbara Moore today. The blood drive was yesterday in the community room. There was 25 appointments and then 2 walk-ins, so 20 units of whole blood was collected and 1 unit of double red was collected to potentially save 66 lives in our community. And the Town of Boston Christmas sharing tree is up and decorated in our foyer in the town hall. Each tag on the tree represents a child from Town of Boston family who could use a little extra help this holiday season. Take a tag and purchase that gift, wrap the gift and bring it back to the town clerk's office by end of day on Monday, December 19th. Those gifts will be delivered to the Boston Valley Elementary School, and the counselor there will distribute to the appropriate families. Thank you to the town residents for the thoughtfulness every year in taking the tags off of the tree. And I just wanted to thank Margaret. She comes in early, stays late, and she put all the decorations on the tree and decorated everything all for us. So thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. For my report, countywide, the town did not apply this year for it was called a CDBG, or Community Development Block Grant. That's where the work that's being done in North Boston for the new pavilion that's down there. But all the rankings are done across the community, so we'll receive funding for those HUD funds for the Community Development Block Grant. But we went through, we ranked everything. We submitted all of our formal numbers to Erie County last Thursday, and so that'll be coming, and the town will continue to keep our eyes out for any projects that we can fit in the census tract. I wish it was a larger area in the community, but it's all based off of HUD, median household income and income guidelines based off of HUD. So it's predominantly over in the North Boston area, and then also for improvements here in the town. But we'll keep an eye on. There's a couple of our ideas when I was out looking at projects that I'd like to try to maybe possibly bring back to the community. So some information on that next year. We'll see how that shakes out. The winter storm, really thanks to our highway department and our highway crew. They did a great job. Our highway crew even had a little bit of press from Commissioner Bill Geary. One of our highway crew actually plowed one of the roads. There's a resident that I don't believe I'm breaking any health privacy information, but had a medical emergency, and our plow got in front of the ambulance to get the ambulance there during that storm. So that's a testament to kind of what our first responders were saying earlier. When in time of need, you do what needs to be done. You don't really think about things. You do what's right to take care of your citizens. So kudos to the highway crew. I'd also like to my calls actually started on the as the storm was called, that the IPA storm, because all the winter storms here in Buffalo are named after beers. But I really would like to thank the state, the county, again, the town highway, all of the first responders across Erie County that participated, law enforcement, and most importantly, the residents. A lot of residents this time around had adhered to the driving ban. Yes, I know it can be a pain. I know some employers had to actually raise the red flag, and there's a couple of letters that I had to write indicating that there's a driving ban in Boston, even though it wasn't initiated by the town of Boston. But it was something that had done. But I really want to thank everybody because in kind of retrospect, this storm that was exactly 8 years to the day from the last storm that we had that took us a week to clean up. We were able to clean this up. Everyone coming together as a community within roughly about 3 days, and that's huge. And that's schools pretty much coming back under operation, highways being open, and yes, it was. I had a couple of phone calls. I'll go on record saying that the reason the 219 weren't plowed, that's how we kept people off of them. So that there's a lot of explanation going on, but really a lot of people came to work, and I knew it was going to be kind of one of those storms that areas affected because you didn't really know. But when the National Weather Service started listing, and the CSX Railroad was on that phone call because they were worried about shutting down the railroad, I knew it was going to be a bit, I guess for me, myself and other electeds, we knew it was going to be a big storm. So really it takes many hands make light, and really kudos across the county for many people that spent the time to make that come together. The other thing I have is the Western New York Southtown Scenic Byway. There was a photo contest out there. Just had a meeting last night on that. There's a photo contest. I thought it was a great photo contest. There's some residents in Boston that submitted photos for this contest. Stunningly beautiful. If for anyone again that's watching or has the opportunity, jump out to the Western New York Southtown Scenic Byway Facebook page and website. The information and the photos will be out there. There will be prizes that will be awarded for that. But again, there's some amazing talent all across Erie County. But it's really neat to report as a public servant that we have some really cool talent here because the photos were amazing. The town, I alluded to this earlier during correspondence, that the town has been awarded by the Comp Alliance, which are a comprehensive insurance carrier, that we received an award for the safe workplace again this year. So that comes as kind of a designation, but also as a monetary return on the premiums that we pay, which again saves the taxpayers money. Safe workplace, they don't have claims, money comes back to the town. Win-win across the board. So we'll keep up those good business best practices across the board, and we'll try to achieve that once again next year. I did want to mention in the very near future there are some job openings. So for residents to stay tuned to the town website and also the Hamburg Sun, we do have some job postings that are going out for a couple of various positions. And then last but not least, I want to touch base a little bit on, I sat on the Erie County Sewer District number 3 board, which serves Boston. And some of this has made it to the press. If you go to the county website, there's information there. But today there's a lengthy discussion and presentation that the sewer project that has been talked about for some time, the pricing or the price tag on this project was approximately about $100 million. With some of the other things that have come into play that were identified that need to be repaired and replaced, followed by inflationary factors. It's almost unbearable what inflation is doing to all of us right now. But that project is now a little north of about $150 million. But again, this is something that the Erie County Sewer District residents taxpayers know, because this will show up on your tax bill through your sewer districts. This is something that has to be done. These are New York State DEC requirements and things that has to be done. This is not something, unfortunately, for a couple of years. This has to be action taken, and anticipated completion date is going to be roughly in the next, approximately a 3-year window. So I'll be happy to report more information on that again, because the citizens of Boston pay I'll be happy to answer any questions, but there's a lot of thought that's going into. We have a great team of engineers that's been guiding us along this path, but that is also something that's going on. And that is all I have. I'll echo all my fellow board members' sentiments. I hope everyone has a safe, happy holiday. And, I want to get into the weeds on this, but, respectfully, for our first responders who came up and spoke tonight, I admire, and I can't, I think Councilman Cartacchini said it best. Their passion and the fact that they are volunteers and they choose to serve our community is a huge testament to their personality and who they are. This MOU or memo of understanding, I just want to make sure it's clear that was not something that the town board had initiated or we had changed. This was a decision. The town board contracts with 3 fire companies, the Boston Emergency Squad, and also Hamburg Dispatch to provide the services to you as the taxpayers. The memo of understanding was drafted approximately 17 years ago. Was there? There's a clause in there that it could have been canceled. As you heard tonight, that's why it was there was a decision for it to be canceled. Not pointing fingers. Like I said, don't want to get into weeds on this, but it was not something for the town board. Councilman Cartacchini, our council, the town board as a whole, we spent many hours. We're trying to do what's right to serve the public, and Councilman Cartacchini again said that perfectly. So I won't continue to go on down that path, but we are working on this. This is something we're trying to do again, and I echo Dave Appa's sentiments. When the alarm goes off, none of us as residents care who shows up to our front door. If it's a fire, it's an emergency call, we just know that we're looking to take care of each other. So I just wanted to kind of clear there that it was unfortunately it was not a decision by the board. That was a contractual or a separate contractual agreement between two separate entities above and beyond the contracts that the town board has recently established with those organizations. So, and again, hope everyone has a happy holiday season. For me, as I like to say, Merry Christmas to all, Happy New Year. And oh, by the way, and since we do have the Hamburg Sun here, the next board meeting will be canceled due to lack of agenda items, hence our lengthy packet this year. So I will see everyone next year at the reorganizational meeting on January 4th. Make a motion to end the meeting.
Second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacic,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried. Meeting adjourned.